Hello. So, I was recently teaching my kids about morality. Kohlberg's morality. This is my AP psychology class. I was teaching them about morality. So I decided to use myself, well, my story as a sort of case study. I mean, in the beginning, of course, they didn't know that I was using my story to teach them about this. So from that, I thought I would actually now retell the story. I've actually already retold the story on, again, WhatsApp, but to just get a base so everybody can understand what story I'm talking about, I'm going to start from the beginning in terms of how it goes and where it ended and how I was able to use it in my psychology class to get the students to analyze so they can understand the idea of morality. So the story begins, of course. It begins from a simple act of I was playing, was very young, I think probably like 7 or something like that. But I was playing South Africa, Koppsville. That's the place that I used to live at when I was growing up. And out of that, I get called to the house. When I get called to the house, my mom is there. She's busy, like frantically packing her stuff, her belongings, and packing my belongings into like suitcases. And then she's saying, "We're leaving." I think at that time I had hardly seen my mom for quite a while. But that's what she was saying. She said, "Yeah, let's go." And then she started, everybody, like my aunt there was there arguing, like, "Oh, where you going, where you going?" But she took the stuff, said, "Follow me." And then, of course, I was my mom's child. So I had followed her suit. And then at that time, I did not know that was the last time that I was actually going to see my home again. At least the place that I thought was my home. So we left. And when we left, I think it might have been a couple of weeks or a couple of days later, but my mom was busy coaching me on a statement that I should say when we get to the place that we were going. We were actually going to be going to court in a couple of weeks or in a couple of days. Can't recall. But the statement was, when I get there, I must say one dude is my father and the other dude who I had believed was my father for quite a long time, these past 6 years, was not. I'm like, I'm confused. I'm a child. I'm confused. But it's my mom. I know if I don't do what she says, she might slap me. I was like, okay. I put it in my head that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be saying Ufani, Babami, and Tulane is not my dad. Right? So we get to court. I was wearing these big shoes. There's in the article that I wrote, which I will also link to this conversation, you can see me and how actually I looked. Big black shoes. I don't know, I used to wear big sizes when I was young. And then my mom is standing next to me. That picture still, as I say, even on the blog, remains one of my favorite pictures. So we are there in court. I had to wait outside. My mom is the one inside discussing everything. I don't know what's happening there with the judges. But I am here outside practicing the statement that I've been told to say. I'm sitting there. I'm telling this because there's so many things that happened behind before actually the court was actually being done. So I'm sitting there practicing the statement, and comes my aunt and my grandma. Well, the people that I believe were my aunt and my grandma at the time. They come, they see me, I look down. I think as a child I understood, I don't know, the psychological thing that was happening, because in my heart and my mind, I kind of knew what I was about to do felt wrong. It felt wrong, especially from the point that this man, had been raising me, and I've been living with this family for these many years, and now I'm about to technically betray them. My aunt is there, oh my God, and then they hug me. Beautiful hug. I used to love my aunt. She was like best thing ever. And I'm there because I've been sitting there for hours waiting to be called or to come in to the courtroom. I was famished, hungry. And my aunt, I think she could see it, and then she asked me, "Are you hungry?" I'm like, "Yes." Well, I nodded, like shyly, "Yes." And then they go and they get me bananas, and then she comes back and she sits down, and then she gives me the bananas. I first eat the banana, like I finished it very quickly, and I'm eating the other banana, slowly, and they're talking to me. I can't remember what she was saying, but I do remember her asking, when this whole thing goes down, I do know who my father is, right? And I nod, and I'm like, yes. And then she's like, who is your father? And like a shy kid, I swear to you, that banana was like a lump in my throat. That's how hard it felt to swallow that last banana because of the thing that I was about to say. And I looked down and I was like, Ubaba Mufan. And I could see it. The moment I said that, I saw her face turn and tears just rolled down her face. And my grandma just yelled, "Oh, go damdanam, oh, go damdanam." And then my aunt was just, she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her brother basically was about to lose a child, and the grandma was about to lose a grandson. It's terrible. And then after that, they they understand, and then they stood up, and then they just like disappeared. I watched them disappear in the hallway, and that was the last time I ever saw them. I mean, it kind of gets worse. How can it get worse than that? I walk into the courtroom, I get called, I come in there, I swear to you, I see a mirror across the courtroom. Not a physical mirror, but a visual mirror of what I would look like when I'm an adult. This guy that I've been told to say is my dad literally was looking like an older version of me. I don't know how this nigga must have actually denied me when I was a baby. Clearly, because that's what black people say. They say when someone denies you when you are a baby, you are the resemblance of their own features. And I see this man, I do this, and then he just it's got a blank face. But for me, I'm like, huh? What's this? And I had been believing that other guy, because I'm a child, so I make up the features. I'm like, I got this guy's head. That guy looked like me as well, the other guy. Get there, of course, this man had said, nah, that's not my child. I'm like, dude. And yeah, but fortunately for the judge, everybody could see, I could see. I'm sure there were other evidence that were provided to show that this man right here, this dude, look at you, look at me, look at you, look at me, so that was proven false. Maybe, I think the case was won. I think I asked my mom, and then she told me all these things. But when I was old, I did more than that. I tried to find out, it's only logical for a person to stay with the person that wants them rather than the person who's denying them. I was asking my mom, what was wrong with us or me staying with the father who says, I want this child, this is my child, and attempting to go to a man who was outright saying, no, this dude is not my kid. She broke it down for me. She laid it down. There were quite a lot of factors that as a child I wasn't seeing, but apparently, the other dude, Tulani, was, he was a very physical man in terms of being an abusive partner and other emotional aspects that were there in terms of, what he did. I don't know all those things. I didn't see all those things. I guess all I was seeing was a dad who was there. But I do know that during times when there were altercations, I would be told to go outside and play, and I would be playing with my rabbits there, and I would just hear noises at the back. But you know, it was just one of those things where you think, oh, parents fight all the time. But when I asked, I was made aware of all these things. And I mean, another factor that she included, of course, is that this guy was like her first love, which I'm not gonna go into. But it is what it is. Anyway, that's the underlying story of everything. Now, when I was applying it to my class, which is like, I need to share that. You know, maybe who knows, some way, somehow, someone might want to use something similar. I had asked them, in this court case or in this courtroom where we have a child who's standing there, who was told by her mom or by his mom that he must say this instead of this. We have a father here who's outright saying that this is not my child. I am totally not this man's father. And we have a father who is actually saying, this is my child, give me my son. And we have a mother who's saying otherwise, who's trapped in between, trying to, you know, say this is the dad and this is not the dad. We have a judge who's gonna make a decision that's ultimately gonna change people's lives. We have people in the courtroom watching all this happening, and we have a policeman who's stopping any altercation that's happening inside the judge, which there wasn't an altercation in this hypothetical situation that I'm giving the students. And I asked them, out of all these characters, which character belongs to which moral dilemma according to Kohlberg? I got some very interesting answers. Some answers were really beautiful, and the kids were able to analyze and unpack everyone in the story in terms of who belongs to where. And of course, they were able to give their own reasoning behind their choices, which was quite fascinating. So yeah, it's a thing to try and approach, you know, teaching with using stories. I think people tend to understand more when you try to relate something to something that they can envision and it comes from real context. But yeah, that is the story, and that is it. I will also put the link of the written story of this story, because there were other things that happened in the future relating to this born a stereotyped situation, a father denying his child. I thank you again, and I appreciate you for being here with me, listening to me share my stories and my history.